Okay, this one is a little bit more for Jeff Claw than I don't know if anybody else will really care. Anyhow, um, we're gonna take a look at this, and I mean, it is what it is. All right, everything about this hike, to me, contradicts with anything a person does hiking. You're in the desert, it's windy, you don't drink water, you don't take food, except for a candy bar. He had water with him. By the time he came out of Picture Canyon, I think his ass was already kicked. I think it was kicked when he went over Wild Horse Pass. I do not think that that was his normal style of hiking per se. And then when you get back to the vehicle, the first thing you grab is a beer. The first thing that you do when you're walking, hiking, I don't care if you're hunting, I don't care what you do. You stay hydrated. You do not drain your body down, because anybody that really hikes, goes out, if you've never had dehydration cramps, then you really have not figured out what not drinking enough water is. That, or else somebody told you about them and you had enough sense to keep drinking water. I just am having a hard time with this video. I mean, I watch this damn thing, and then I watch the headline news special, and I keep coming back to, okay, I understand. Let's word it like this. I understand the idea of wanting to know what you can put yourself through. All right. Yeah, I get that. In certain aspects, I think everybody does, because you want to know your breaking point for whatever you're doing. You want to, I mean, if you're lifting weights, you want to know where your breaking point is. I mean, my kid talks about it all the time. He's a bodybuilder, so, I mean, and he placed fifth at the regionals, oh, not last year, but year before. So, that was, I'm gonna say the kid knows what the hell he's doing. First competition, placed fifth. He worked his ass off to do it. Hunters. Every single hunter that I know, they might take a bag of jerky, they might have a candy bar, but they damn sure have 3, 4 bottles of water with them. It's just one of the things you take. Okay, so what I am looking at when I watch this is I'm watching a guy that kind of wrote a check And in his comments and everything, he had to cash it. And what we're watching is a guy pay the price for it. This was, what, in October? I think this hike was October 14th, and then his hike that nobody knows what he went with was the 10th of November. If I remember right. But, I mean, so there's too many questions in this. But you notice he puts a cap on that beer and grabs his backpack and starts drinking water. Alcohol dehydrates you. Right there's your dehydration cramps. He's trying to rehydrate with the dehydrant. I mean, that's not good. That's like if you get lost somewhere and you don't eat for 3-4 days, and then you want to go to McDonald's and eat 5 quarter pounders with cheese. You're going to make it through one and you're going to cramp up and be dying. He's doing the exact same thing there. See, when he got back, he's going to pan out.
Over that, and then down that side, and then I walked, after I went down, and then I traveled all the way, in the canyon, all the way across the backside of that mountain, and that is one large mountain range. And then I traveled all the way down and around this, and then I came up from down there.
When he got back in here where he could see his vehicle, if it would have been me, I'm not saying a guy wants to go out and drink all his water in the first couple of miles. You want to ration it to a degree, but at the same time, what you want to do is once you start getting back here And okay, he comes around this rock point, wherever the hell he come out of. If he came out up here, down here, whatever, he was in line of sight of his vehicle. That's when he should have started getting his body hydrated. Where he saw the turtle, he should have had, I mean, you want to take drinks throughout. Now, 30 ounces of water really isn't that much. I think most, well, your smaller Nalgene bottles are, oh, the scale says 32 ounces, and I forget what the milliliters is. And so I know a hydration bladder, it seems like they hold 60 or 64 ounces of water. And then you can get bigger ones, I believe. But that's irrelevant. Once he got back here, he should have started drinking water, and then he could have drank that beer and probably would have been in better shape. Not to mention, he probably wouldn't have been stumbling, and he wouldn't have been as sore.
And I came all the way up here to my truck. So I'm gonna go check out my map and find out how far I hiked just now. See what time it is. I'll talk to you later.
Alright, if he done this hike on a regular basis, let's go off the assumption that he does this hike a lot, comes down through Picture Canyon, right down in here is, somewhere down in here is where I think he's seen that turtle. Could have been farther out, doesn't matter. But when he finds that turtle, his ass is kicked. When he started stumbling, coming in, down through here, he should have been drinking water. He should have known that right in here was probably about the halfway point. Drop out, get another drink. Once you're coming across, have a couple of drinks, come back around. I don't know if he comes through here, whatever. That's kind of one of those things that is what it is. But once he got around this horn and he could see his car, he should have polished his water off coming around here. What I kind of think Kenny's hiking style leaned more towards, I think he came out here a lot, but I think he came up, got up on these ridges. Once you get up on these ridges, sure you have up and downs, but I mean, look at your elevations. Is there going to be obstacles you have to go around? Quite possibly. So I do think that he could do, I think he could do 11 and a quarter miles a day. If he went out on a 4-day hike. Now the 45-mile thing comes into play with, was he was parking in the same place. I think his car was parked here when they found it. So if he came up, got up on one of these ridges, and this is all an assumption. I don't know if he would come up Blackgate. The only thing to factor in is his phone. But that doesn't mean that he couldn't come back up one of these, start ridging out, and wouldn't be that hard to do. And if these springs hold water that are drinkable, right there's a re-up if he had a water filter, which most of your hikers do. You look at any of the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest, those guys carry water filters. And those guys are doing some of the shallow hikes, or what are they, 8 miles? And some of them are a little bit longer in between your campgrounds and things like that. So what I would do is try to figure out where, I know Hidden Forest seems to be one place that a lot of people talk about. I think Scott Nuttall came up here. I think up here is where Scott found that, or had that bat come in and started drinking water right next to him. So yeah, I really don't, I don't know that distance. I mean, I can draw lines and all of that crap, but I'm really not gonna. I just kind of think that the whole 45-mile thing, I would say if a guy says, I'm going to go do 45 miles, and where in the hell? Let's see. Right here. Park here. Come up to here. Drop the phone off. Try to find whichever one of those is. Drop the phone off. And as far as that goes, go right over the saddle, go through the chute, come up into here like Aqua Chigger did. That right there, let's look at that, where that spring is. What is that spring? That's Wagon Spring. That bottom really isn't that rough. That would be steep as hell. Come around and you could go pretty much right up this one. Ridge out. Shoot through that saddle. Then you're right back up on that high ridge. Just a thought. In this case, I wouldn't swear to anything. But you could follow that ridge line. Come around that ridge line. Come down one of these fingers, catch that trail, and you're right back into water again. Just a thought. Anyway, Jeff, I think it's possible for a guy to do, but I wouldn't plan on 45 miles away from his car, away from the cell phone. I figure his car was nothing more than where he parked it. That's where he dumped his phone. Did he go ahead and come up here for kind of like a goodbye hike? Either way it went. Did he come up here to say goodbye because he loved the place? Did he come up here because he loved the place and he knew he was saying goodbye to his life and going on to other things? That's the question. All the other stuff is distractive. As far as, I mean, just my thought. There's two options. He's out there dead, or he's down in Mexico drinking tequila shots, laughing at all of us trying to figure this shit out. All right, there you. That's pretty much my thought on it. All right, later.